All right. Welcome to the David Devine Broadcasted Show. Uh, uh, Welcome to another Thursday night. Tonight, we've had a lot of good shows lately. Tonight will be no exception. We've been having fun backstage. I'm going to introduce you guys in just a second here. Get this thing worked out. All right, there we go. We're joined tonight with, you can see it right there, Priscilla, Brad Slitt, lead singer of Priscilla, among other things. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. I like your new intro, Dave.
Do you like it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's still working on it. It's a work in progress, but yeah, it's fun.
That's cool.
And then right below Brad, we have David Melicant. Yeah, I checked it. I think I got that right.
Me, Dave, you're right below me.
All right, Melicant. Yeah, right below you.
What's up?
Now he's right below us both.
Me, Dave.
Why don't you below me? Welcome everybody.
You guys are witty.
Why don't you below me? So this is I don't know. No, Brad, have you done a live stream before? I think David told me.
Yeah,
Dave just told me. All right, you've done a live stream. Dave just told me this is his first live stream.
This is my first live stream.
We're I don't know what can we. He was a live stream virgin, but we're taking that tonight, right there.
Let's initiate him.
Yeah, is there initiation or a hazing or something?
Hold you down and kick you in the nuts or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. The chat will.
You up for that?
Yeah, whatever. I'm cool. It's rock and roll.
You asked for it, Dave.
All right, so here we go. Independent Manny. Hello. Indy says, hi, hey David, Brad, Dave, and chat. Two Daves.
Dave,
it's the second time that's happened, and we're all from Ohio, so this is bound to be a great show.
Right. Oh, I had this joke all worked out beforehand. Hey, man, what's up, Dave?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
one.
No,
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you. Wait,
all right.
So who's up first?
It's gonna be a long night.
It's gonna be Now we only have an hour, but we'll see what happens, folks. We'll try to get it all in. Believe me, I don't think we'll have any problem filling up the space. Cool. What's up, Cashew? Good to see you. The social dig with Mr. Rob G, which will be tomorrow at Rob G's. Make sure to come by and say hi. Saw the Explorer. Nice to see you. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Bud Files, Mike Jones. What's going on? And then again, I was talking to God Rides a Harley earlier, and I
you have a lot of viewers, Dave.
And Buff. Yeah, everybody's tuning in to hear what you guys are going to say.
Cool.
We're both these guys. Well, Brad again, I mentioned, is in Priscilla. He's also done films, and then Dave. I keep saying you like Dave, right?
It don't matter. Dave.
All right,
I'm cool with it all. I'm easy.
All right, easy. He's easy, folks. He's easy.
I'm right
so Dave, right below us, is working on film. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about this documentary film that you're working on?
Yeah, I wanted to do a film on the Cleveland music scene, which I grew up, seeing all the bands, and Brad being one of the artists that I seen plenty of times. And I really only wanted to have like maybe 2 or 3 bands in it. The ones that, I remembered the most and the ones that had the most impact on me. And next thing I knew, it started growing into something a lot bigger. And what I did learn about doing a film like that and working with musicians who are trying to earn a living, especially after COVID, it was a lot easier for me to get interviews lined up and do all that, while COVID was going on, or while we were getting to the end of COVID. And now all the bands are so busy, I haven't been able to get my interviews lined up. And so it's taking a little longer than I wanted, but it'll get done. And plus I'm doing like a lot of band promos and stuff for other bands outside of the documentary. So definitely keeping myself busy with everything. But the documentary itself is basically a look at the Cleveland music scene. And the one that I grew up on, I've had a lot of people coming to me and say, man, you got to put this band in and that band. And I would love to, but I mean, I gotta kind of limit it, or it'll be a 6-hour documentary and nobody's going to watch that.
Right. So how did the taking this on as a project, has it changed since when you started? as it is now? Like you said, other people want to jump in. Have you been tempted to do that, or have you been just sticking with your original idea?
The original idea, I did stray from the original idea a bit because more bands from the genre that I really wanted to feature were interested in it. So it did grow to some, but I'm trying to stay within a guideline that I put on myself, and it was going to be either glam or the hair metal, for lack of a better term, scene of Cleveland. And so it just grew with more bands from that genre. And that's
Are you doing other music though, Dave? Like I noticed you're doing like a lot of like cover bands, tribute bands, stuff like that. So is it going to be?
There is a segment for tribute bands, but they're covering the songs of the bands that we all were influenced by. So I mean that's definitely one of the things.
So it's not
new.
It's not like just specific bands from the genre from the 80s, like the bands that were around in Cleveland in the 80s. It's actually parlayed into.
It's definitely parlayed into other things.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, but not like I'm not like you're not going to see Chimera in this. You're not going to see Mushroom Head in this. Those bands. I would like to do maybe another, film after I do this, after I see where this one goes, and if I could do another film featuring like the heavier bands like Shock Paris and bands like that. Bands.
That's what I was going to say. Are you doing any of the Auburn bands or no?
What's that?
Are you doing any of the Auburn bands or no?
No.
Yeah.
No. So
it sounds like as it's progressing, you're possibly getting more than one film out of this project.
Yeah, it could end up being a series. I would like to focus a little bit on the later on. I would like to do something with the Cleveland punk scene.
Right,
Dave, a series. Think about this now. You've been working on this how long? If you do a series, man,
over a year.
Yeah, if you do a series, man, me and Dave will be dead. You'll be old.
Yeah, no, I'm already old.
Yeah.
So what have you learned?
My kids to carry on. They can do Cleveland Rocks 18.
Yeah, they can they can finish the editing, but
Yeah,
but
they'll be working on the first film still.
And then one more question about it: is there something that you learned as you've been working on this about musicians or actually something that you may or may not have wanted to know?
No, you know what? I'm not going to say that. No, everything that I've learned, this whole experience has been positive. Every way I look at it, the different people I've worked with, a lot of different personalities, I learned a lot. And I learned, the thing that I did learn is that musicians are a hell of a lot more intelligent than what a lot of people give them credit for. A lot of people, you're just going to be in a band, you're a long hair band, whatever. And, it just blows my mind, the intelligence and the creativity that is there. And I love how nobody gave up. You got Brad sitting here, man. This is 35 plus years. David, you're still you're still playing music. I mean, that's the best part of it is there's so many musicians that I grew up like idolizing out of the Cleveland scene who I was just too embarrassed or too goofy to go talk to because I was a little younger and I wasn't very social at that time. So it was kind of different for me. So I wouldn't go up and talk to these guys. I wish I would have talked to Brad or anybody, Billy Morris, any of these guys 30 years
But then
ago.
when you did finally meet me, Dave, we talked for a long time. Then we had Wasteland.
We did. We talked at Wasteland. And then me and you had a nice 5-hour phone conversation one night.
Right.
Which shows that was a moment where, I realized that there's a lot that I could get out of this film. And there's so much I can learn from so many different artists. Just Saturday night, I was talking to June and Brian from Mercedes Lane till 4.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. And, I played with them for a minute.
That was awesome, man. We could have talked all night. And, it was, it's just everybody that I get, one of the main guys that I really looked up to was Joey D and Fatal Charm.
Yeah.
That was a band that I thought, I was like, man, this is going to be a band that's going to take off. But I was a kid and I really loved Joey's stage presence. And when I interviewed him for the film, I was literally like sitting in my car, like I was getting ready to interview Paul Stanley or something. It was really like, yeah, it was, and then I went in and we talked, I was at his place for like 2 a.m, and we were talking, him and Greg Hito were there, and it was very cool. It was very cool. And that kind of,
nice,
calmed my nerves a little bit. So.
Right. That's great. What's up, Butterfly, and also Buff? What's going on? Good to see you.
Butterfly.
Well, that sounds awesome. I cannot wait. Yeah, her Butterfly's her name. Her name is I can't say it, so it means butterfly.
Did you ever see Death Proof? Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Really?
Oh, you have to check that
There's
out.
a character in there called Butterfly.
Oh, is that right? All right. Yeah, I will have to check. I don't
Surprised
think
you haven't
I'm
seen
saying
that, Dave. That's right
well, I'm saying no, but I may have seen some of it. I might have seen it all. It's a remake, right?
I'll be honest, the movie's got the greatest vibe. It's not like one of his best efforts. I'm more into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is definitely one of my favorite movies. But
right.
Glorious Bastard. Everything he's done is great. I'll put it that way. But Death Proof, it's pretty simplistic, but it's got a great vibe. It feels like you're hanging out at some corner hole in the wall bar in Texas and just partying with this group of people. Like, it gives you that vibe.
And
you'd have to see it. And it's got Kurt Russell, who's awesome. Stuntman Mike, he's great in it.
Bushcraft, nice to see you. Yeah, is it a remake or no?
No. It was the Grindhouse movies that him and Rodriguez did together, and Rodriguez did Planet Terror.
Planet Terror, yeah.
Yeah, and Quentin Tarantino did the Death Proof part of it. It was the 2-part thing where they tried to revive the Grindhouse era of films by putting out a 3.5 hour plus epic film. I loved it. I saw it on opening day.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Grindhouse. So
the Grindhouse stuff was older, right? So the Grindhouse stuff was older, though. They were adding to that catalog.
They were adding that genre of films. Grindhouse movies, that whole genre was like a part of it. It was meant to come off looking and being like a Grindhouse, like an exploitation film, like an art house 1970s film that you see on 42nd Street. And it did. They did it perfectly. It was great. If you're into that, I'm way into that. So it blew my mind when they announced that they were doing that. I couldn't wait. I'm a huge Tarantino fan, so I love everything he does.
Jody, good to see you. All right, shifting gears. Brad, can you tell us? Of course, we saw the Priscilla logo when we opened the show. Can you give us a little backstory on that band, and then we'll get into what's going on in the future?
Backstory? We've been around forever, as you know, Dave.
Forever, yeah.
I mean, started out late 80s Cleveland, being part of the glam scene, I guess, that kind of thing. Made some really big waves doing that, got international airplay, caught on in a lot of markets pretty much all over the world. Somehow the music found its way all over, whether it's to Argentina, Europe, Finland, Sweden, all over the place, Germany. Caught on like in an underground scene, which is what I love anyway. Talking about Grindhouse movies. I've always been about the underground. I've told you that, Dave. Like, I've never been a mainstream kind of guy, which is why you don't see me out there like doing what a lot of these other guys, like, people that you would name, Dave, that are so busy they can't do an interview because they're doing their tribute bands and their copy bands, and not a knock on them. Like, people hear me say it, they're like, "Oh, why are you ripping on that? It's a paycheck." Well, yeah, it is. I get it. This has never been my thing. Like, there's many, many times over the last 30 years I've been offered copy band gigs, tribute band stuff that I've never wanted to do that. I don't need to earn a paycheck by playing music. I do it for love of art, for creativity. It's just who I am. It's in my soul to do that kind of thing, to create things, and it's art to me. It's like, I don't care about. It's never been about a paycheck to me. I can't see. I don't understand the want of people to want to play out every weekend and especially at our age, to miss your families, your friends, your loved ones, your girlfriends, your wives, your whoever, your kids. I've asked them why. I don't get it. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's like I don't understand that. Like, I don't know, work a few over time hours on your day job if you need the money. To me. And again, none of this is ripping on anyone. This is just me stating my convictions. But so anyway, so I've always been about that, and that's why, like, Priscilla has always been my driving force, because I've done other bands along the way. Started out with Priscilla doing that, caught a lot of wind. That thing, it took off early on. After a few years and knocking on record companies' doors, just missing major record company deals because of mismanagement, because of poor managers that we had that built the band and screwed us over and destroyed deals that would have been, and they weren't allowed to happen because we were signed to them. So then moving forward, it spun its wheels, it saw its day. And then it kept coming back around because, like I said, it had caught on, and it always stayed. It had staying power, like, over the years, whether it was Napster, all of a sudden, like, I'm on Napster, I'm downloading. Actually, I was trading files. I wanted some Big Bang Baby files, and a guy in Finland was, somehow I told him my name, and he's like, wait, holy shit, are you the singer for Priscilla? And he lost his mind. And I go, yeah, dude. And he's like, you guys are so big here in this. There's some club that he had told me about. They have glam nights there because the glam thing always stayed big in Europe. And he was telling me about how they play us there all the time and that. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And that was probably because we'd done other reunion shows along the way after the first breakup. But I kept the momentum going after finding out that there was an international market for it. That motivated me to do other things with the band. So I'd put it back together. We'd spin our wheels. We'd do that kind of thing, get offered a lot of shows in outside markets, but it was never really worth pushing it that far. I mean, you know how that goes, Dave. Of all people, from touring with Marky Ramone, how that goes, So, I mean, and again, it becomes about making a paycheck, and it's never been about that with me. So, but the record companies come out of the woodwork. The indie deals are always handed over. They've been waiting for something for a long time now. Like F&A, who's re-released High Fashion and who put out Eight Lives Gone originally. They've been bugging me forever to do something new, as well as other indie labels. And it keeps getting to the point where I'm about to do something. And just like this last go round, and we played some shows last year, and everything was going good. And we were building a lot of steam with it, and it was going in the right direction where I wanted it to go again, like immediately. And the plan was to write and record new music, and then it fell apart again. I mean, the band got dismantled from within, without going into it. And like I've said before, it's like, you train people. It's like if I were a CEO of a corporation, I'm training someone to do their job, to fill a position, and then they learn their job, and then they take off, and everything's good, and they say they love their position, and I'm on board with that, and I think everything's great, and I say, okay, you love your position, I'm going to promote you, you're going to be my dude. And then you move forward with it, and you think things are going a certain way, and then all of a sudden it just ends overnight, and you don't even know why. Sometimes, you can point fingers and say things, but sometimes this last time around, I know the underlying reasons, but it was a mystery. And then you're left with having to start over again. There were shows that had been planned that were already in the work. There's club owners that wanted to book the band. Like I said, it was working, it was going. And there could have been endless shows, good shows, big shows, but it just evaporated overnight. So then, I'm like, you know what, screw this. Like, every time it gets to be such a headache that it's a pain in the ass, as everything is, just like the movie scene, Dave. You're working, you're a lone ranger, you're an army of one doing your thing.
I'm not looking to be a part of that scene, man.
Right. Like when I started making movies,
I'm good.
I started making movies, man, like unbelievably, I don't know, 8 years ago now. It seems like yesterday, but 8 years ago. And I made 2 feature-length films, a short film, and some other things that I worked on that I did. And I got involved in the Cleveland independent film scene, and, which is like an underground music scene. And that, it was no different. At first, it was great. And it's, it's like when a band starts out and everyone's like, you're a gang, and you got the gang mentality of we're going to win everyone over. We're going to fight the world, and we're going to defeat it. We're going to get it onto our side, and we're going to take over. And it seems like that was going again. And I made one great feature-length film that I wrote, directed, cast. I did everything for it.
And
then
there it is right there. Yeah,
there you go. There. Yeah, Running with the Angels was the first one.
That was a really good film.
Thank you. Yeah, that one was based on a lot of my personal experience. It was autobiographical.
Your ending hits hard. Hits hard.
It's a gripping film, and it's a dark film, and it's a dirty film, and it makes you want to take a shower. And when it ends, you're wondering what the hell just happened. And that was the full intent of it. I wanted to be like a junkie's worst nightmare, and I was going through a real dark period of life, real dark depression, and that conveyed it came across on film, and that was the intent of the film. It was very in some ways Tarantino-esque, I guess, in some ways David Lynch-esque in a sense. But it did it was my first film right out of the box, and I did it. I had a team of filmmakers from the Cleveland, Akron film scene that I got on board with, that got on board with me and helped me make it. That's the movie poster for my second film, Pharisee, that I was a star of. I written the screenplay, and then I handed it over to a guy that helped me work on Running with the Angels, and then he took it and reworked the entire film. Like, it was, and not good or bad. I'm just saying, for my taste, it wasn't what I intended. I had written it as a Sid and Nancy type of film, if you're familiar with that, like the Sid Vicious story. It was like that, but like if Sid and Nancy were vampires, it was rock and roll vampire movie. The main character, the lead, Pharisee, which I played in the film, was a blood junkie. For lack of a better explanation, just to put it real quick. But the movie, it got derailed halfway through. The guy that I said I just had gotten finished with Running with the Angels, with directing it. It was such a huge undertaking. I didn't want to jump right back into another movie, but the guy that helped me on Running with the Angels, had some clout in the film scene, and he saw the script for Pharisee and he loved it. He said, I got to make this movie, and he wanted to direct it. I said, fine, that's fine. And he wanted me to star in it. I said, yeah, I'll do that. That's not a problem either. I said, but listen, I just want to show up on the set, do my thing, and go home. That's it. It's all your baby. Well, and then when I handed it over to him, nothing was getting done. So then I had to work behind the scenes, and I had to cast people, and I had to take care of everything, and I had to get secure sets. I had to do all that. I had to do all the stuff I didn't want to do again. But in the meantime, I was working with a screenplay, my screenplay, that he was giving it to me page by page as we're filming it. And it wasn't my vision. Every scene was a kill scene. The guy he's really into making underground horror films. And that's what he turned it into. Mine was just a gothic romantic, rock and roll type of film.
Yeah.
It was a really dark love story with vampires. They happen to have vampires. As the lead, as the driving characters, but he turned it into his dark, gory film. And like, as he's handing me pages, every scene was a kill scene. And I said, I need more to go on here. What's my motivation? What's this? What's that? So then he said, I'm reworking it as we speak. So when he finally handed me at one point I said, I'm not going to do anything else till I have a completed script. I need to know what I'm getting into, what I'm doing. So when I finally got the script, it wasn't my vision whatsoever. Nothing. It was nothing I would have signed up for. Whatever. If he was happy with it, that's great. God bless him, man. It's all good. But it became what it became, and it became a right. He fired people that I had hired on, the female lead that I'd cast that was great for the part. He just fired her, put his personal friend in her place, and everything got dismantled along the way. So I was slightly bitter, but I saw it through all the way to the end. I got the film distribution deal, which he nixed. He didn't want anything to do with it because, in his own words, he didn't trust me at the end because he thought out for myself. I said, no, I'm just trying to help the team, whatever it is, whatever it's about. This is a team effort. I said, there's a lot of my friends involved with this. A lot of people put time and painstaking effort into this. I said, this is a worldwide distribution deal. We're going to get paid for it. You're going to get, I said, I don't even want the money. I'll give you everything. That's how fair I was about it. I said, but it's going to have worldwide distribution. It's going to be on streaming services. It's going to be on Tubi. It's going to be on Shudder. It's going to be in you could buy it off the racks at Target, at Walmart, wherever, on DVD, Blu-ray. Our movie will be out there. Our names will be on. I said, it's great. It's a great motivator for, to do what you want to do. This guy that wanted to buy it as a producer, he will give you money to fund your next film. And as it is, he's into underground horror films. The reason he wanted to buy the film, sight unseen, was because my name was attached to it. This guy was a guy that had put out 80s, like rehashed 80s glam bands, and they had put out CDs, stuff like that. And he liked the movie posters for the movie. He liked the trailers for the movie. And he liked the fact that I was the lead for it. So he wanted to buy it outright. But I guess for that reason alone, the guy I handed it over to direct it, because it was motivated because of me, he didn't want any part of that. So then, he just put it on his own Amazon streaming service, his own Amazon, whatever. I don't even know how that works, But
So,
the whole thing, it became a nightmare. And the first movie became somewhat of a nightmare too, because my lead actor that I personally cast, who was great for the part, got in a lot of mischief, to put it lightly, and wound up serving 15 years, I believe 15 years. It might have been reduced, I don't know, but something like that, in prison, like right as the movie premiered. Actually, the Akron premiere, right after that, he was arrested. So it got derailed, because that movie had gotten a distribution deal also, but the distribution company didn't want to touch it after this happened, because the film was untouchable, because he was the lead character, the lead actor, and he was now a felon, and it got ugly. It got stupid so fast. I didn't even know what happened. And again, I'm like, it just sucks when, and going back to the band thing, Dave, and all that, it's like you invest so much time into this. You give your blood with me. You know how I am, Dave. I invest blood, sweat, and tears in this stuff. I invest my heart and soul into what I commit to. If I commit to art, in my heart, I believe, I don't care what the fuck anyone thinks of me. I am an artist. I'm a consummate artist. It's what since I was born, since I can remember, it's what I love to create, and I feel it in my soul, and that's why I do. And again, going back to doing copy tunes, doing tribute bands, this and that, I don't feel that. I don't get. I'll jump on stage with the band and do a copy tune here or there. That's all cool. That's fun. I get it. That's fun. It's like karaoke the song. But man, it's like, if it's not my own, it's not mine, it's not part of me, I don't see any reason for that. And when I keep getting involved in these things and then they blow up, it sucks, man. It really sucks. And then I had a third feature-length film, Salvation Avenue, that I'd written as the follow-up.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta hold on. I gotta cross off my cover band question. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I want to take this time to say hi to Tommy Temper, Doc Mack, and Lake Ferry. All right, continue. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, man.
That's all right.
But yes, so no, I had a third feature-length film that I'd written. It was epic. It would have been like a 2.5-hour movie. And that thing, originally, me and this guy that I'd worked on the other two films, we were going to do it. And then obviously that fell apart. So then I redid it all. I reworked. And I kept going through channels of people. And this Cleveland film community that eats itself up. Like everyone, to put it blunt, everyone needs to get their head out of their asses. These people, they're younger, and there's some talent. There's some ability out there. There's people that have talent. There is. Oh, I've seen it. I've worked with it. The guy I worked with is a brilliant technical mind. He can throw shit together. It's amazing looking. I'll never knock his technical abilities. Now, on the creative end of it, some people sorely lack as far as writing, as far as creativity, as far as directorial ability, whatever you want to put on. And they have their clique of people they work with. And people are so hungry to be famous, whether it's in this city or any city. I mean, it's like a groupie phenomenon. As soon as you say, like, it's just like with a band, oh, you're in the band, oh man, I want to blow you, I want to bang you, whatever. Dave, you know how it is. Like, you get these hangers on.
I never wanted to blow or bang anybody. No.
Well, not you, but you're the other side of it.
I got you. All right.
With all the bands you have been with, but
I plead the
and it's all cool. I get it, man. You have to appreciate people, because without them, you don't exist. We don't exist. You need fans. You need people to drive the machine. But and like with the film, what I'm saying about the film thing, the film community and the film scene is that I saw it. It's, oh man, Brad, you're directing films. You're writing. I want to be in your movie. I want to be in your movie. I had endless people knock on my door, calling me at all hours of the night, wanting to be in my films, wanting to be a part of it somehow. I saw it, you know, and then people wanted me as part of their films and stuff. And I agreed to do one short film that this guy cast me, and he had written a script around me, and I agreed to do it. It wasn't good, but you know, I agreed again, sight unseen on script because he had a big name in Cleveland. And to give you an example, like what goes on, these people, as far as getting their heads on this, like the cancel culture thing and that, they're eating themselves up. This particular guy that I'd worked with, like he's bad mouthing. As soon as the guy got locked up, that was the lead in my first film, this guy's on all the message boards, canceling him, saying, you know, just saying this guy's a sack of shit, this guy's this guy's that, bad mouthing him endlessly to no end. I was defending, I was jumping in and saying, listen, man, I don't know the guy's personal life, and I don't. Even though I spent pretty much every waking day and some sleeping days with them, you know, just like we spent so much time together getting to know the character, feeling him out, doing all that. But I never saw, I knew he had a darkness about him. That's what I liked. That's what I wanted in my film. I wanted the lead character to be so dark. I wanted someone that was basically knocking on death's door junkie type mentality. This guy had it without being, but I didn't want a junkie because I knew that'd be hard to work with. This guy had everything else. I knew he was dark, but I didn't know how dark he was.
Yeah, junkies keep weird hours. Yeah, you can never get them on set on time. Yeah.
So, but anyway, so this other guy in the Cleveland scene, you know, he's bad mouthing him, and I'm jumping to my actor's defense. Well, guess what? The guy that was bad mouthing my guy, guess what? The Cleveland film community within months of that, maybe a year, they canceled him. Now he can barely work in Cleveland. I don't even know what went on there. He was being accused of all kinds of things. I'm not even going to go into it. True or not, right. I don't know. Again, I don't know these people's personal lives, but he got canceled. He got canceled by the same community that he was canceling other people within. And I hate seeing that because you got to be open-minded. Because I always say this, Dave. I always say this. If you canceled every artist from our generation or before our generation, the true rock and roll generation, the Led Zeppelins, the Beatles, the Elvises, any one of those bands, they were all banging 12-year-olds. They were all pedophiles, if you will. So, and doing other atrocious, by today's standards, acts. They'd all be, every one of them be canceled. You'd have to cancel art as we know it. You would never be able to listen to another Pink Floyd song, and you'd never be able to listen to Led Zeppelin again. You'd never be able to listen to any of that again if you take that seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a bad road to go.
It would go way beyond that, man. You'd have to cancel comedians and everything. Think of Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. Think of that stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just using bands as an example. There's no filmmaker. There's no
it's a broad horizon.
And then you think about this. Think about this. If Harvey Weinstein looked like Johnny Depp, he wouldn't be in jail right now. There you go. How about that? Yeah. Facts.
It's and that's part
I'm not
of the
defending
reason.
anything that he did. You know, for all I know, I don't know the ins and outs of it. You know, I'm sure he did some really bad things. However, if that guy was a handsome devil. Because I personally know very handsome devils that have done very bad things, and they sure shit aren't canceled. They got a line of chicks knocking on their doors. And I'm talking the top down. I'm talking the A-listers of Hollywood, of the music scene on down.
Yeah, Doc Mack, Priscilla, and right again, both the Dave and Brad's Facebook links are in the bottom, and then we'll add any other links as we get them. Now, Dave, you had a very different story filming. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's lighten it up a minute. But Rob G can relate. He says the Sacramento scene sounds the same. So, and Rob G's also a musician. But
what's up, bro?
I'm going to show some pictures here, Brad, with some people. But let's ask the question. What are the most influential or inspiring bands you grew up with in Cleveland or internationally? And you guys can both
go ahead,
jump
Dave,
on
you go first, man.
And
Oh,
chat,
me?
you can answer this question too.
Okay, straight up, the first band or the first musician that influenced me was Rick Springfield. Was Working Class Dog. That was an album that I played constantly, man, and that to me, he was like what a rock star should be, and I mean that drew me in, and that built my love of music, and that really made me, that really opened the doors to everything that I like now. And I still like Rick Springfield to this day. And I will defend
Dr.
him.
Noah Drake.
Up for
Dr.
him
Noah
for
Drake.
quite a bit.
He looks good though.
Dr.
what,
Noah Drake.
74?
Yeah, he does.
74 years old.
Yeah.
He's damn good looking, man.
Is he really? Is Rick Springfield 74 years old now?
Same age as Sammy Hagar. Him and Sammy are
right.
Wow. Breaking news. Rick Springfield. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Rick Springfield 74. Wow.
Right.
Wow. But that was great. I listened to that when I was a kid too. Jesse's
right? It's got hooks galore. It's poppy as hell. It's in a lot of ways it's very, I would say, T-Rexy kind of like the
T-Rex.
Yeah.
Rick Springfield.
Yep. If you listen to it, man, you go back to
I've never heard that one. I'm a huge T-Rex fan. And I have nothing against Rick Springfield. I do like some of his music. I have nothing against him, but I don't see that at all. I am a huge Mark Bolan fan. I love Mark Bolan's voice.
Check it out. His first two successful albums.
I know he was a glamster, dude. I know he started out. He was in some glam band in Australia, wasn't he? Before he came to the U.S.
He was in the band Zoot. Yeah, it wasn't really glam though. It was like they were dressed up like cavemen or something. It was really weird.
Like cavemen?
Yeah, they had like caveman outfits,
like Manowar.
not quite that bad.
Wow.
No, I mean I'm talking like loincloths and shit. They were out there, and then he had that like glam look and everything. But no,
he's a pretty boy. No doubt about that.
Based a lot in like T-Rex and that whole scene. Go back and check it. And in fact, he's probably said that. I'm sure he did. So.
Okay, so Dave, was your question about influences and inspiration, was that meant to be like as far as the Cleveland, like the local scene, or everything international?
Yeah. I mean, it could be Cleveland international. I'm just opening it up because I'm going to show some pictures that you sent me. You with some people, as you're answering the question.
I can show you another.
Okay. Well, like,
all right, Dave's got some. Let's see what Dave has here. All right, and then we'll get to you, Brad, in just a sec. What do you got?
Yeah, can you see that?
Oh, yeah, Priscilla album right there.
Oh, now that's a great inspiration right there, man. Like,
there you go. Priscilla album on 45.
It's sweet, man. Sweet. That's very cool.
I have my Cleveland music too.
I think I used to have that at one point. One point in life, I had that.
You did? I don't even have it.
I don't know if I still do. I know I did at one point. Yeah.
Dave Melicant, I think you asked me a long time ago if I had one.
I did.
Man. I'm sure I do have one somewhere in my house, but I don't know where it's at. Like, I know someone has hundreds, but it's not me. But I think sold a lot of copies right there.
All right. So what's going on with this photo right here? What's going on with this?
Oh, Bon Jovi. That's just Bon Jovi. Me and Bon Jovi hanging out back in the day. And again, like, okay, so now that's my roots, like, and Bon Jovi at that point in life, that was a Slippery When Wet tour. So the guy, as you know, was the king of the world at that time, man. He was like a modern day Elvis for a minute, and he was cool as can be. I mean, just what a great, nice guy. He was just a sweetheart of a dude. Always was. I met him a handful of times, and he was just always a nice guy. He actually helped me. Snake Rock, actually, you guys know. I know Melicant. I know you know him.
I do.
He was telling me about how Bon Jovi was talking up a storm about me backstage at the Akron Rubber Bowl. That he was like saying, Brad Slitt guy. He was talking to Snake Rock about me, saying, that he liked me or whatever, like my band, like my music, or whatever. And actually, the real brief story, Bon Jovi, actually, it might have been right there was when that was happening, had asked me to audition to send in some demos to Doc McGee for Skid Row back in the day before they got Sebastian Bach. But, the rest is history. So I'm not. That's a whole long story there. You don't have time for that, Dave. That's like a whole Nikki Sixx.
That was part of our 5-hour conversation too, I believe.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Let's go. What do we got going on here? We got
Nikki Sixx, like the Crew. I mean, that was like later years. That was like probably, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe, or something. But like, no, early on, yeah, and people always assume, oh, you're just a hair metal dude. No, I mean, I was growing up and then I was a kid when that stuff was blowing up. So yeah, I followed it. I saw Motley Crue. Motley Crue actually stole mine and my buddy's chicks on the Shout at the Devil tour. Shout at the Devil tour. They were opening for Ozzy on the Blizzard of Oz tour at the Coliseum. And me and my buddy had picked up some chicks there at the show. And then we went over to the tour buses, and Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee stole the chicks that were with us and banged them and hooked up, So, I mean, whatever, they were just chicks we met. And then we, long story, Tuck from the Biters right there. Now, there's a band, the Biters.
Great band.
A great band. Now, there's a band that had some serious T-Rex going on, man.
Yeah, they did.
The last Electric Blood album, man, there was a lot of stuff that really, really sounded T-Rex-ish. And it's a shame, man, because I thought they were the great white hope, the great American hope that was going to bring rock and roll back. They're from Atlanta. And I've played a bunch of shows with them and stuff, became friends. First time I met them, we were playing a show outside Peabody's, and I rolled up, they were in a van, and I got so stoned with those guys in their van. I didn't know what day it was, man. I'm like, all right, well, let's play the show. But real great, cool group of dudes. And such a great band. Actually, Talk right there, that's the singer for the band. He was supposed to be the opening act. He ended up breaking up the band because they went on a tour of Europe. They're opening for him, Vil Velo's band. And the tour cost so much money. They had just signed to Earache Records, and the company financed it. And he had to break up the band because he owed the record company too much money. So he couldn't be the Biters anymore. So he broke up the band, just became Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts. Great band also. Everything he does is great.
To see them on the stadium tour.
Yeah, that's great.
Would you say it would have been?
It would have been, yeah. I
wish they would have been also. He would have stole the show. I mean, not in those terms, because you didn't have the budget to put on that kind of a stage show. However, that being said, though, people would have been blown away.
He was originally on it.
That's what I'm saying. He was on it. COVID killed that. COVID killed his record deal, his original record deal that he signed with the Restless Hearts. And then it also killed him being on a tour because they bought their way on that tour. And because of all that COVID stuff, he lost that. So he lost everything. And then he went on some, a couple years later, he was not happy. He was not a happy camper about that. Rightfully so. I felt terrible for him. I thought he finally got his big break. He's been trying forever, and he should be. Who knows what goes on now. He had Butch Walker help him out on some of the stuff, the new soul stuff we've done in that.
Butch is just a genius, man. Anything he does.
Butch is a genius. And I'll tell you what, man, I was just watching some Marvelous 3 stuff on YouTube. There's just a few concerts. Oh my God, dude. I've forgotten what a brilliant performer that guy is. That guy is music incarnate, man. Like he just imbibes music. Everything he does, his whole body is an instrument. And that's what I try to come off as on stage. Like when I'm doing that, I'm part of that. And that's what he does.
David's got the South Gang down there, which was Butch's first album.
Oh, there you go.
Band. Yeah.
And I will have the Marvelous 3 here soon.
Yeah, their new song's good. They just put out a new song. We're on Fire or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
it's a good song. It sounds like they didn't miss a beat in 20 years or more.
Well, they took off right when they remastered the Ready Sex Go, right? They remastered that.
I thought they remastered the Hey album. Wasn't it the Hey album they remastered? They might have did Ready Sex Go. Ready Sex Go is a brilliant album.
No, they did. They did the first one.
Oh, okay. But they put a new track on it,
right? That's the first one.
That's the second one. Math. I can't remember the first album was an indie thing. It was real. It was a small label thing. Math and Other Problems or something. It's
Right.
not a great album. It's good because it's Butch, but it's not their greatest effort, that's for sure, But the Hey album was the one, their breakthrough with Freak of the Week and all that. But anyway, okay, so this picture right here, Dave, that you got up, that's Marilyn Manson, obviously, and Twiggy Ramirez. Marilyn Manson also, he was the last guy that was really and this is going to go right back into cancel culture. That guy was making huge waves, man. And what he did, he brought things into the new millennium, like as far as rock and roll, as far as combining genres and mashing up glam and goth and heavy metal, and he takes and begs, steals and borrows from Bowie, from Psychotica, from all these other bands, but he does it well, and everyone steals. It's just everything's been done 1,000, 10,000 times. But if you do it and do it well, then God bless you, man. Go for it, And he did everything he did well, and he just put out the best album he's put out in 20 years. His last album, and his ex-fiance canceled him. Made him lose by a single tweet, just saying he was a bad boyfriend, essentially, in so many words. His record company dropped him. All his agencies dropped him. His management dropped him. His booking agencies dropped him. He was canceled. And his career, I can't wait to see what he does. I hope he comes back and kicks everyone's ass, because he rightfully should, because he's brilliant. And again, he's another guy, man. It's like, is he a prick? Does he have an ego? Of course. He's Marilyn Manson. He's world famous. I knew him when he was nobody.
I'm going to have him in Cleveland Rock 17.
Again, he's from Ohio too. Another Ohio.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Canton. But I love what he did, man. I love so much of what he did. Like, he was a big influence on a later part of my career, where I just wanted to take things in a whole different direction, and I started writing a lot of stuff. And if you listen to 8 Lives Gone album, a lot of that stuff is kind of influenced. And the record company didn't like that. They compared it to Manson, and I said, yeah, good, great. There you go. The 8 Lives Gone album. That was it's a great album. Like, people tell me all the time. Some guy actually, he's a fan of I think he might be listening now. He told me he was going to listen tonight. He's a huge fan of this album, and he told me he was listening to it last week. I can't remember. He said he was sitting in his car at work or something, and he said 2 20-something-year-old goth chicks were walking by, and he happened to be listening to the High Fashion song, and they were like, "What are you listening to? This is awesome!" And he explained it to them, and they loved it, and they said it's got such a good sleaze rock sound, and it does. And like I told him, I go, "Yeah, I wish someone could have got behind it and put it out there to the masses, because the album would have taken off." I get people that write to me regularly from all parts of the world that love this song or that song or the whole album, and they want to do copies of stuff. There's bands from be it Brazil or Mexico even or Sweden that contact me, and they say, can we remake this song or that song? And I say, go for it. I mean, that's my hope, is someday someone that catches some fire. I don't know if it's possible anymore, the way the market is and everything, but I hope someone redoes the 8 Lives Gone song or Hide and Light or High Fashion or one of those songs off that album, and it catches fire. And like, kind of like what GNR, what Axl did with the Dead Boys, Ain't It Fun, which I think is one of the best GNR songs, even though it's not a GNR song, but Hometown Boys, the Dead Boys, Stiff Baders.
And they're from where? They're from where?
Dead Boys, Cleveland.
I think Cleveland.
Yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah. I mean, Stiff's from Youngstown originally, but they're from Cleveland.
Yeah. Close enough. Close enough. Yeah. Ohio. Yeah.
But I'm like, Stiff has a quote about that rock and roll isn't about. It was never. And mind you, this quote came from the 70s when he was alive and he was vibrant and all that, and his band was huge at that time. He said, rock and roll, it's not about how well you can play or how well you could sing. Rock and roll has always been about attitude and about social change. And that's so true. If you think about it, really is. That got lost. It got lost in society, and it's got dumbed down by society. The attitude's gone, because if you have an attitude, you're going to get canceled. Bottom line, if you present any attitude, which is, people can misconstrue my confidence or my drive as being ego or as people nowadays, you know, the millennials and so like to call it narcissism. You know, everyone puts narcissism on that. I could dish that out to a lot of people. I'm not a psychologist, so I can't analyze people. I can't diagnose that. I can have my feelings about that, but people love throwing that thing around.
I've studied it pretty good. If you'd like to lay on the couch, I can maybe take some notes.
So have I. I have as well. I mean, I'm an armchair psychologist at this point, trying to figure myself out, trying to figure out half the bozo chicks that I dated. But you know, what I was saying is that you can't have a rock star anymore. You can't. Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse, you know, he had a quote, and I love that guy. That guy's, if you listen to some of his attitudes, some of his interviews are brilliant. He's like kind of like a modern day Axl, where he just doesn't give a shit. He's tired of everyone fucking with him. He's a pretty boy, so everyone fucks with them. People bag on him, you know, for that. He's a great writer. He's a great musician, great singer, great front man, got great band. He's got great songs, and people hate him because for those reasons, I suppose. And has he got an attitude? Sure, he's very confident, but like he says, you know, you can't keep knocking down what you want. You know, people want this badass rock star. People want the Mick Jagger, the old school Mick Jagger. Well, they did. I don't know what the fuck. People want Taylor Swift now, apparently, because she's the only one that sells out stadiums on her own anymore.
She's putting people into a trance. Have you guys heard that? Where
no, I haven't heard that. But
yeah, it's like Beatlemania. The young girls, or maybe boys too. I don't know.
I mean, she's the biggest artist. I mean, since Michael Jackson.
Yeah, they do. They do post show interviews, and these girls have no idea what they just saw. They're like in a blackout.
I mean, I
know fans of hers.
You know.
All right, one at a time. All right, Dave first.
No, I'm just saying that kind of thing was happening with the Beatles, and
right.
You get somebody that just comes along and they're a phenomenon. It's just like.
But it's different. Here's the thing: the Beatles were a rock and roll band. They're geniuses, you know, and the Stones and the Who and the Aerosmiths and the Zeppelins and the Pink Floyds and this and that. But you don't have any of that anymore, and you can't have it anymore, because to have that, you got to have some attitude. You got to have some balls. You got to have some attitude. You got to be a little bit of a badass, and you got to say, "Fuck you, I don't give a fuck." And once you say "fuck you, I don't give a fuck," you get canceled in this generation. So how the fuck are you going to be a rock star? You know, I'm through caring. Like the last interview I did, I said, you know, I don't fucking cancel me at this point. You're going to like me. You're going to hate me. Yeah, I don't give a shit anymore. I've done what I've done. I don't want people to hate me. No, I'm not asking for that, but I'm going to be myself, you know? But if you're going to fucking say I'm an egomaniac or I'm a narcissist or, you know, I got attitude problem, whatever, you don't fucking know me. You don't. I think the people that truly, genuinely know me will say I'm a pretty good dude. You know, and I try to be. And I'm not coming to my own defense with that. I'm just stating the facts, you know. But if I'm on stage or I'm rock and roll or I'm writing music and I'm writing songs that have attitude, don't cancel me for that. Don't cancel me because I come across in a certain way, you know, or if I'm in public. As far as being in public, I do have some social phobias. I don't like people in my face that much. It happens a lot, too much sometimes. I'm not complaining because, again, I appreciate anyone that appreciates me. I truly do. But I do have social anxieties, you know. And so if I'm standoffish in some way, it's because I don't know you, you know, and I'm just kind of minding my own space. That's my thing.
Well,
man.
yeah, I mean that brings up a point that I was going to point out. Roughly an hour ago, when Dave said that at first he had trouble approaching these guys, you know, and then for whatever, and he was intimidated for whatever reason, whether he grew up, you know, thinking they were a cool band, and then my response was going to be, you know, that a lot, just like you just said, Brett, a lot of the artists feel the same way. They're very, very, you know, antisocial or introvert.
Here's a fact. So many of those artists, what you just said, Dave, are introverts and have social phobia, social anxieties. People just assume they have these giant out of control egos, like Axl Rose back in the day. All his shit he went through. He has, to this day, has horrible social anxieties and phobias. Right. And the thing is, the people, the artists, and so many of the front men especially, are so knocked down from life, from bad childhoods, from this, and I'm not, trying to put a label on it, whatever, but they have an emptiness inside. I know I've had it for a big part of my life. To get on stage, people think, all right, you got this giant ego already. You're getting on stage, you're getting that ego pumped up more, and that's just inflating you and making you a narcissist and an overinflated ego. No, you're just filling up a vacuum that needs to be filled. Is to get to a point where you fill that up. You fill up that emptiness by being on stage to the point where you can feel normal. You're finally on a level where you feel human. Does that make sense, Dave?
Yeah,
Dave,
yeah, exactly. And
exactly.
And that's part of why they seem standoffish or maybe egotistical, where a lot of it is exactly what Brad just said.
Yeah. It's sad. People don't understand that, but it is, again, I just want people to be fair about things. Like, think of me what you want, but be fair about it, and with anyone. And that's how I am. I don't judge.
We lost him. Oh, there he is. All right, he's back.
Well,
is he back? Yeah, he's back.
I mean, I know you said you were.
We just did a Ferris wheel thing.
Yeah, we did a Ferris wheel. I thought StreamYard was somehow judging you, but now you're back. So
yeah,
I got canceled again. Holy shit! Why is this happening?
They're done.
All right, now
I've had enough of this shit.
Normally we do an hour. We're at an hour right now. Let's start winding her down. And again, this has been a great conversation. You guys are welcome back anytime. I got to like 2 or 3.
We come back tomorrow, Dave. I'm kidding.
All right, we'll talk about
plans.
it. We'll talk about it.
I got plans, man.
Me too, because I'm going to be at Rob G's tomorrow, the Social Dig. So check us out.
Oh yeah,
I think I think it's at 9 or 8 or 9, maybe 8 or 9. We'll get to the bottom of that. But so winding it down, guys. Thanks for being here. Dave, what's going forward and anything you'd like to promote?
Obviously Cleveland Rocks will get done. So everybody who is worried about it, don't worry about it. It will get done.
Dave, I'm worried about it. I've been losing sleep over here, man.
You know what? You say that comically, but there are people who I hear through the grapevine that are wondering what I'm doing. You know what? Don't worry about me. It's my thing. I'm going to do it. Don't worry about it. And if you have a problem with it, don't watch it. Unfriend me. Do whatever. I don't care. It will get done.
Hey man, I just asked you to cancel.
There you go. I like that.
I have other things on the side that I'm doing that are actually making money to put into my video business. And, that stuff's got to come first. I mean, I have to, I need to build my business before I could finish the movie. And I got to interview everybody, including this guy right here.
You're right.
This guy?
Yeah. The pretty guy right there on the bottom. The guy that's about to get canceled.
We're going to get to that real soon, Dave. I give you my word.
That I'm doing for Cleveland Rocks with Brad here.
I know. I've been putting it off, whatever. I give you my word. We're going to do that in the next couple of weeks here.
Oh, I know. Sure. And I'm there for you. You know that.
Right.
And then I'm also going to be doing some horror films, working on some horror films with my buddy Billy. And I want to bring Charles Bailey in to help with that too. He's
to help with what? Wait, you got cut off there for a second. To help with what?
Working on some horror films with my buddy Billy, who does makeup and he's a writer, and then Charles Bailey I want to work with as well. So hopefully that stuff will get done. So I want to do the music thing and the horror thing. So
right on, Dave, and it'll get done in exactly what you said. Yeah, in your own time, and you got to build your own thing up. And man,
I mean, I'm not trying to prolong it. It's just how the cards are falling right now.
Right.
And
editing.
I treat everybody with respect because that's how I was brought up. So I give them their space. If somebody's busy, I'm not going to keep bugging them. I'll go back to it after a little while and say, hey, can we get this done? Like Brad, I never bug Brad to do an interview. No. I asked him a few times here and there, hey, can we get this done? When are we going to do this?
Right.
But everybody's busy. I get it.
Right.
And everybody's doing me a favor. I can't pay anybody, so it's just kind of everybody's kind of giving me their time, which I greatly appreciate. So
right.
And awesome. You know what? And I'll be honest with you, I love all you guys. You guys are like
love,
friends,
like love in what kind of way, Dave?
Awesome. Not in that way, Brad. Don't worry.
Nah.
Well,
Hey, I'm not judging.
Brad, I don't know.
If I were to judge you, then I would be canceled again.
Brad, not in the carnal way. Not in the carnal way. He doesn't.
Okay.
Man. I'm finally hanging and talking with my idols, man. It's awesome. And Cleveland rocks, man.
Right on.
All right, Dave. You're one of my new favorites. You're a great guest. Come back anytime. You're always welcome.
Dude, thank you.
You're more than welcome.
The invite. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And all right, Brad, what's going forward? What do we got? And then we're gonna wrap her up.
Okay. You know what? Here's a good to answer this question. Like I could say, a million things. I could say, well, I want to do it. Like the whole thing started out when I said, well, what my plans were last go around. I had every intention of moving forward with it, writing and recording a new album, finally giving that to the record company, doing that, maybe doing a little bit of touring here or there, whatever. I mean, the tours are available. I mean, there's club owners around the globe, whether the money's there or not, but they're knocking on the door. I mean, they want to see Priscilla in markets, in many markets. So it's there. I mean, the potential's there, possibilities there. I want to do that. I have every intention to do that. We've been talking about doing that again now. Talking to some other people in the Cleveland community that want to help with that are on board with that. So that's a big part of the plan. Doing some other shows, and we got a show coming up that we just booked. December 1st, it's at the Foundry in Lakewood, which was the old Hi-Fi that Billy Morris and Jim Mailer and some guys owned, and now is owned by Ray Gentry. And so we're doing that. We're the first non-heavy metal band that's gonna actually play that venue, which is I'm excited about. And the club's really behind it. They're into it. Raise a huge.
Doc Max has come to Kansas City. I'll be there.
All right, Max is Kansas City.
Yeah, that's in New York.
You're right. But no. I'm excited about that show. I mean, that's just a one-off show. It's the only show I'm going to end up doing this year. But there was a lot of other plans, but as it turned out, that's it. So. Yeah, that is good. The club's behind it. I'm into it. I think that's gonna be a really good, fun time. So I mean that's just a one-off thing. But in the big picture, and the other thing I want to do is I do want to make my movie, my Salvation, whether it's Salvation Avenue in some form. I mean, I worked on that screenplay for well over a year, and I do want to get that off. Get it off to a start. I want to do it. And when I commit to something, I get it done. The people, it's funny because people I get involved with, whether it's music wise, film wise, I come into the fold, all these things start happening. And I'm not saying it's me, but hey, something happens. Why? Because I'm a driving force, because I have drive and I want to see through my dreams, my passions, and my goals. I have ultimate goals and I get them done and they get done. I got 2 feature films in 1 year. I did, and people I'm involved with.
That's pretty big, yeah.
It's huge, hard dude. It's huge. Get that many. And both landed distribution deals. Both landed distribution deals worldwide that both got nixed. None of my doing, but I got them deals. I did all that, and but then when I leave the fold, and I know, and everyone's gonna rag on this and say, oh, there goes his ego again. Well, guess what? Nothing goes on after I leave. It's like, all right, everyone thinks they own it now, and now they're going to go on their own, and things don't happen. I'm not saying it's my magic. I don't know, man. I'm just saying I do get the job done. But here's the thing, to answer your question, what do I want to do? My future plans, Dave? I want to have a core of entertainment-oriented artists, people around me that believe in a project. I'm not saying believe in me, I'm not Jim Jones. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not saying believe in me. I'm saying have faith in what I'm doing. If I present a project to you, have the faith to see it through, and follow through. Follow through on your convictions. I want a core of people that can help me get my projects both off the ground and to the finish line. And then see where it goes from there. Because like I've always told everyone I've worked with, I will not give up. If you commit to me, I will commit to you. And I will see this thing through. And whatever happens, happens. If it flops, it flops. But I will get us a deal, whether it's a record deal, I'll get us a distribution deal. If it's a film, I will do what needs to be done to get this out to a world market. And I always do and always have with whatever I've done. At that point, it's in God's hands, as they say. It's, you know what I mean? I can't say if people are going to gravitate towards it because it's a difficult market. And with the market, you know, being what it is, it's a free for all, man. But that's all you can do is try. And if you have the love to create, which I do, which I feel, you know, that's that artistic spark that dwells in me that I just can't give up. And me and you, Dave, have had this talk. You have that. I know what you have. It's different. It's different. It's not like others. It's just a thing that you can't even answer for, speak for. It is what it is. And it's different. And it could be oddball, could be considered being a freak. I don't know, but it is what it is. But getting back to that,
yeah,
I will see through projects to the end, but I need a core of people that help me deliver these projects. And that's what I want to do. So as far as my future, I would love to do that. My whole 2023, it became a wash for what it was going to be. It was going to be the year of Priscilla, of getting things back on track, putting on an album, do some pretty big things. It was all planned. It was all in the works. That fell apart. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do movie-oriented stuff. I'd like to do that. If I have a network of people around me, I can do all that. And I will deliver the goods. I always have. I always will. How's that?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's like that. It's summing up some
that's
things.
That's Brad I love right there.
Yeah, that's summing up. Yeah, summing up some things. It's like, right, when you're creating art, music, whatever it is, movies, you do, you know, it's, I think it's something you learn with age is that you can't always just go to whatever you're doing, whether it's even, broadcasting on YouTube. You can't always just do whatever, you know, what you think everybody wants to see. You have to take risks and create your own artwork. And
I always feel you have to follow your heart. You have to.
Yeah. And maybe, hopefully, maybe a crowd will come. But if not, you know, you
if it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's not going to kill me.
Right.
You know,
touching on that, here's the other thing. And I've argued with a lot of other artists, a lot of, whether it's movie makers or musicians about this, that put out their product and they clamor for every penny, and they talk about like, well, this record company wants to sign me, but they're only offering me this and they're only offering me that. It's like, dude, yeah, get it out there. What do you, and these same people that tell me this bullshit, they end up doing nothing. Now, you know, 10 years later and 20 years later and 30 years later, guess what? They still don't have a product out. Just like the filmmakers I worked with, you know, they had their ideas of what was going to happen. Well, it didn't happen. That movie was going to be out worldwide. Whatever would have came from it, it would have came from it at that point. I'm not going to judge the quality of that. It is what it is. But it would have stood a chance. But it's never going to stand a chance sitting on the shelf in someone's basement. Just like music. You can record the greatest fucking album in the world. You could record the White Album or Physical Graffiti or Appetite for Destruction, whatever you name your album. If you're a fucking garage band, a basement band, you record that album, but you hang out on those demos, you say, fuck this, no one's ever going to touch it. No one's going to touch it. This is my music. This is my song. And only if someone gives me $1 million fucking dollars or 2 million or 3 million or 100,000 or 1,000, whatever it is. Okay, well, guess what? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Get it the fuck out there and then go from there. Once you make some waves, you catch the fucking wave and you ride it. That's all you can do, man. That's all you can do is get your art out there to the masses and hope for the best. Hope that people gravitate towards that, grab onto it, and go from there.
And it's very important to never do something half-assed, because you do it half-assed, you're
oh, I would never. And that's why like when I get involved, like the vampire movie I told you about, Pharisee, that I started, I'm very upset, and I'll leave it at that, at the way things went, because I wouldn't have signed up for that project. Had I been delivered that script, say, hey, you want to be the star of this movie? I'd have said, absolutely not. No. But I was attached to it. I'd written the original script. It got rewritten. My name is still on there as a screenwriter, even though it's not my screenplay. It has elements, it has characters that I developed. It has elements of what I did. The vampire, the lead shoots up with blood. Things like that were left in there. But it was completely dismantled. And it's not something that I'm very proud of. And I will say this, I'll go on record saying this, the quality of that movie for a Cleveland indie film is really good, because the guy putting it together that I work with, this is accolades to him. And again, hey, I'm always here to talk to whoever. I don't shut everyone out. I'm not into canceling people. The guy's got a brilliant technical mind. He can, with the right nurturing and the right direction, that he can go places, man, because he's got the chops. I saw it. I saw what he does, and he has that ability. And the vampire film, even though I criticized it, and he hated the fact that I spoke poorly of it in interviews following it, he said I was quote unquote slandering him by speaking negative of it. It wasn't that per se. It was, I didn't like my name being attached as a star and a screenwriter in a movie I didn't believe in, because that wasn't my vision. I had a vision that I thought was very, very effective, and it was quite brilliant. People that had read the screenplay thought it was, and that was what I wanted to deliver. So I was disappointed in the end product. Still, though, a technically great-looking film for coming out of the Cleveland underground scene. When I watched it, I mean, there's nothing I could say as far as, the way it was shot, the way, just the overall technical attributes of the film. They're great, man. I put them up along everything else, better than much of the other stuff coming out of the Ohio scene. Truly, to that director's credit, nothing. I got nothing bad to say about that end of it. No, I have bad things to say about the way things went down and people that got fired and the direction things went. But yeah, I can't knock someone. Someone has skills. They have skills, man. If someone could sing, then they're great. If someone could play guitar, they're great. They're whatever you do. I'm never going to be one to criticize someone's talent, someone's God-given abilities, but I will comment upon their attitude or, deception or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? As far as that goes, like, that's just not cool, But
right. Whatever. All right. I'm going to run the lake outro here in any second now, but I just want to take a second to thank everybody, all the viewers and the mods, for keeping it cool in the chat. And thanks, Dave. Dave's no longer a live stream virgin.
You guys popped my cherry. Thank you.
We were your first
threesome. We had a threesome. This is great.
We had a threesome. Misty, what's going on?
We did have a threesome.
Thank you, Rob G. We'll be at Rob G's tomorrow at 8:00. Brad, again, so come over and hang out at the Social Dick. Great show. I was telling you that, right, Brad? I was telling you that earlier today.
Telling me about what?
About Rob G's show.
Yes, you were. Yeah. Yep.
And Mike Jones, thanks for being here. Brad, thank you for being here. We're gonna have to.
Sure,
this is gonna be one to watch back and dissect all the things that kind of flew over my head while I was thinking of something else to ask, and what just happened. It was one of those great interviews where I'm not sure what happened, but I liked it. It was great. Fantastic.
Right, got away from you. Got away from all of us.
No,
that tends to happen. But you know what? And here's the other thing. And
it was fantastic.
It's funny because again, I just have that feeling in the back of my head that my haters are going to watch it again, anyways, and just be like, there he goes, being a fucking dick with an attitude. It's like, again, I make no apologies at this point, man. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I just speak my mind. I'm very outspoken on what I believe in. Always will be.
Don't change.
Craig, great to see you. There's so many stories, you guys. There's so many stories that we did not get to tonight, and I apologize because we have a lot of great stories. And you'll have to come back and we'll
wait, Dave. A story we have to tell, man, before we end it. And I told you, every fucking time I do a podcast, I forget about this. What were you just talking about? Tupac.
Well, Tupac was what I was going to allude to.
Do you want to go into it or no? That's going to be another 10 minutes.
It's going to be a long story. I'll tell you what, you guys, we'll tell you next time. We'll tell you.
Okay. To put it real quick, this real quickly, without going into any of the details of it. I was
Brad
there
Slitt, real quickly.
Well, yeah, I'll try as quickly as a Brad Slitt story can go. So I partied with Steve Clark of Def Leppard like the week before he died, and then he died out of nowhere. Partied with Scott Weiland week before he died, then he died. Partied with who else? Oh shit.
Moral of the story: don't party with Brad. No, but we were in Las Vegas.
Who else? See, now I'm forgetting the other people. There's been some other huge rock stars, man. But the one now I'm thinking about the Tupac thing, and I'm forgetting about the other people. What was it? There's Scott. I don't know, man. And as soon as we dismiss this, it's going to be like, God damn it, that's who it was. But anyways, here's what I keep forgetting about. Dave Melicant, I'm going to tell you because Dave knows about this. Me and David Devine were two of the last human beings to ever see Tupac Shakur alive. He got killed.
That's true.
Minutes. Minutes after we saw him, he walked past us at the MGM in Las Vegas. Dave has the last footage of Tupac.
Yeah.
What do you got going there?
It's just the outro. I told you I was going to run it, but they can still hear you.
Okay, I got you.
So I have the last footage of,
so Dave. Wow, that's really throwing me. So, anyways, Dave filmed Tupac and sold that footage to Entertainment Tonight, but it was the last existing footage of Tupac alive, and he was killed minutes after that. Like people tell me, dude, you got the like the kiss of death. As soon as you see someone to party with them, like some rock star, some big celebrity, they die right after that. But there's been others too, and now I can't think of them.
They have to be big celebrities because I don't want to get up and go to work at 4 in the morning.
What's up?
I know. See you guys next time. See you next time.
All right. Peace out.
Big cliffhanger.